In this lesson, we're going to talk about inequalities and how to graph inequalities on a number line. All right, so first of all, we're just going to go over the different symbols. All right, this symbol right here, it means less than, and some of the buzzwords or the word phrases that are associated with less than is fewer than or below. This symbol here is greater than, which some buzzwords are more than or above. This one here with the less than symbol with the line underneath it is less than or equal to, and the word phrases are at most or no more than. All right, so those are some word phrases that mean less than or equal to, and this means greater than or equal to, and if you hear somebody say something is at least a certain amount, it means that it's greater than or equal to. Or it also, if they say it's no less than, then it also means it's greater than or equal to. So now, if we have an inequality that has a variable in it, that inequality is called an algebraic inequality. The value that makes that inequality true is what we consider the solution of that inequality. And an inequality can have more than one solution. So in other words, if I say x is less than 0, well, that could be any number less than 0. So it's an infinite number of solutions on that. And so together, all of those solutions are called the solution set. So go ahead and pause the video and copy these notes into your notebook. All right, the first example that we're going to say is, it says write an inequality that shows that no more than 18 people are allowed on a ride at one time. Here the buzzword is no more than. Okay, no more than. So if we look back, if we look back at our list that we just wrote down, no more than means less than or equal to. All right, so we know that this means less than or equal to, and we're going to say people, or P, is less than or equal to 18. What that means is that you're allowed to have 18 people on the ride, or you can have less than 18 people on the ride. All right. Next one says write an inequality shows that the water level is above 45 inches. So what does that mean? Can it be 45 inches? No, it has to be above 45 inches. So the water has to be above or greater than 45 inches. So W is greater than 45. This says show an inequality shows that there are fewer than 8 fish. Well, there's a number of fish. Fewer means that it's less than 8. Okay? So there's F is less than 8 is an inequality for that. And we have, says write an inequality that shows that you need to score at least 24 points in order to win the game. Well, at least means you can score 24 or more. Okay, so that's greater than or equal to. And we're going to say points P has to be greater than or equal to 24. All right? Now, something else for you to write in your notebook is that if a variable is greater than or less than, a strictly greater than or strictly less than a number, then that number is indicated with an open circle like this right here. All right. So in this case, because of the fact is that the number that is written down is not part of the solution. All right. So this would be a is greater than 5. Okay, because the arrow, so you put an open circle at the 5 and you draw an arrow to indicate all lines that are greater than. Remember, going to the right means greater than. Okay? Going to the left is less than. Okay? So, as you can see here, going to the right is greater, all right, and going to the left is less, all right. So if the variable is greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, it doesn't matter, then the number is indicated with a closed circle. So in this case, the closed circle that shows that 3 is part of the solution set because it is equal to the thing. So this is b is less than or equal to 3. So you draw a filled in circle at the 3, and less than means that you draw your arrow to the left. All right, pause the video and copy this information into your notebook. All right, here it says graph the inequality x is less than 2. Once again, that less than, that is a strict inequality, means it's an open circle at 2, and it's less than, so we're going to draw our arrow going to the left, okay, because this means left means less, because our numbers get less as we go to the left. All right. And if you also, one of the things that I always mention to people, if you notice this arrow here, that arrowhead there, looks like the same thing as the less than symbol. Okay. All right. Here, graph the inequality x is less than or equal to negative 3. So come to negative 3. Because it's less than or equal to, it's a filled in circle, but it's still less than, so that means our arrow is still going to go to the left. And you notice that the arrowhead here is the same direction as the less than symbol. Graph the inequality x is greater than negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 greater than, okay, is an open circle, and greater means going to the right. Okay. All right, so greater is going to the right, and this is also reflected on this little arrowhead here. Okay, but the important part is that it's an open circle. That's the important part is that it's an open circle because it's just simply greater than. This says greater than or equal to, it's got the little line underneath it, so that means it's going to be a solid line or solid circle at 4. So 4, and it's greater than or equal to, so we draw our arrow to the right. Okay? Now sometimes we have what we call a compound inequality. All right? A compound inequality is the result of combining two inequalities, and the words and the word or are used to describe how the two parts are related. If you use the word or, it says x is greater than 3 or x is less than negative 1. So that means that x is either greater than 3 or it's less than negative 1. All right? The next one says, the other one over here says, negative 2 is less than y. Okay? Or in other words, this could be written as y is greater than negative 2, y is greater than negative 2, and y is also less than 4. So it's bigger than negative 2, and it's also less than 4. All right, so that means that y is somewhere, is all the numbers between negative 2 and 4. And usually the way that we write that is we use the negative 2, use the smallest symbol on the left, the negative 2, put a less than or equal to, whichever way it is, and then you put your variable, and then you put your less than symbol again, and then put your larger value. So if you look at that, if you look at it as this, negative 2 is less than y, or you could also say, if you use this, y is less than 4. So it's just a combination, it's a combination of both of these inequalities. All right, so pause the video and copy this information into your notebook. All right, it says graph the inequality p is greater than 3, greater than or equal to 3, or p is less than 0. Okay? Remember back to what we just said, or means it's either one or the other. Greater than or equal to 3 means it's a solid line, or a solid circle. Greater than or equal to 3, all right? Or p is less than 0. That just means that it's an open circle and it goes to the left. Now you notice that those arrows are going in opposite directions. So the or means that they go in either one way or the other. All right, the values are either one way or the other. Here it says graph the inequality of 1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 4. So we're going to put a closed circle at 1. We're going to put a closed circle at 4. So we can look at this. 1 is less than x, or in other words, another way of writing that is that x is greater than or equal to 1. So that means that x goes this way, all right? X is greater than or equal to 1. And x is also less than or equal to 4. So that goes this way. And so because of the fact that it's and, it's talking about this whole, just this little portion here. It's not talking about these parts down here. So those don't count. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to have dots at either end and a line in between it. You actually don't even have any arrowheads. It's only the numbers. X is only the numbers between 1 and 4. And whenever you see this, you know that x is between 1 and 4. All right, so that does it for this lesson. Go ahead and make sure you have all the notes copied down, and go ahead and look at your classwork and make sure you have, if you have any questions that you ask them, get in touch with me, and we'll look at this when I'm around.